Hey y'all, how you doing on this Wednesday? Happy hump day. For those of you who are still experiencing the hump, um, it's a little bit different because we're not in the office or we're not in our like regular workspaces. If you're used to working outside of your home, but now our homes have become our regular spots. Um, but happy hump day nonetheless. So today, we're still working on masks, y'all. Um, I've been working on masks for about 2 months, and it seems like people really just want to still work on masks. I think it's very important. And hello to everyone that just joined us. Um, Again, we're working on masks, and if you're interested in crocheting along with me, grab your hooks, grab your yarn. We're starting a brand new mask fresh. Hi, thanks for joining us again. So last week, I did about 3 different masks, and then today I did. I shouldn't say today. Yesterday, I think I finished up one, and then I did a brand new one. So this is the brand new one that I did. This is a larger mask. It's roughly twice the size of the masks I've done previously. This is what I'm calling my beard mask for anyone with a beard who wants to keep it covered and clean. Um, this would be for you. So to measure it against. Let me grab. I thought I grabbed one of the regular masks, but I actually grabbed my circular mask because we're going to do a circular mask today. But let me grab. Oh, here I am. Let me grab one of the regular masks that I was working on before. So I would say this is just what I would call regular size mask. Um, this is a mask that that fits my face, will fit other folks in general. Since I've been making masks and sending them out, this is the size that I've been doing, unless otherwise asked. So here we have this mask, this size, and then we have this one. So as you can see, it's about twice the size um, as this. This is twice the size as this mask, and it's longer. It's longer. It's longer by, I want to say, about an inch, and it's also longer by about 2 inches. So it's made to like completely, totally cover the face. Like if you have a beard, you'll be able to just sort of like it'll like sort of like tuck in, and I would suggest you tuck it in a little bit. Now for a longer beard, of course I can make something bigger, and that's something that we can go over. But so far, this so far I've made a mask that'll cover like a beard that's hanging about an inch to 2 inches off of the face. So yay, I was happy to make that the other day and had mentioned that I was going to go over that today. Um, but I am going to do a circular mask. I haven't done a circular mask in a long time. And I like circular masks. I like how they cup the face, how they keep your nose and your mouth in and everything all together. Also, the circular masks that I've been making do have pockets as well, because I've been making masks with pockets for those of you who've been following my crochet mask making adventures. The purpose of the pocket, and I've had to repeat myself a couple of times, only because when people see that I'm crocheting a mask as opposed to like sewing it, like sewing a piece of material, the concern is that when you have stitches have holes, even for anything that's a material, like a solid material. Those have tiny holes. But as you can see, there's a little bit of holage. So the concern is like, whatever bacteria I'm trying to get protected from, I will not be protected. Yes, you will be protected. There's 4 layers of protection here. One, the material this is, which I didn't mention, is hemp. This is a hemp and cotton blend. Hemp is naturally antibacterial, antimicrobial, and what that means is bacteria doesn't want to live here. This is not hospitable to bacteria. And there are several materials that are naturally antimicrobial, antibacterial. If you watched me before, you hear me repeat this all the time. Bamboo, hemp, and wool are all naturally antibacterial, antimicrobial. Bacteria and microbes don't want to live here. It's not hospitable to them. They don't like it because of what hemp is made out of, how hemp is made, whatever it is that's in hemp, whatever it is that's in bamboo or in wool. They don't like it. They don't like it, and they're not living there. Specifically in wool, it's the lanolin that covers the fibers, the natural, I guess, the natural protein that covers the wool. Just it repels bacteria. So there's that. Also, we make a lining. So any type of knit or crochet mask, all of them, they need some type of lining. So whether you sew one in or whether you crochet one or knit one. So I knit one in. Well, excuse me, knit. I do not knit. I'm not a knitter. Oh my gosh, I'm a crocheter. I think knit is just in everyone's vocabulary. Like crochet doesn't really like roll off the tongue naturally, so people will automatically just say knit even if they mean crochet, even when they're crocheter. So as you saw, it just happened to me. So I crocheted a pocket into this mask, and it also serves as a lining. So not only that, again, if you've seen my crochet demos before, you know that I've spoken about filters. So I use a filter to put inside the pocket and just line it up. I cut a piece off and I just stick it in. I just stick it into the pocket, and this particular material is a shop cloth, and shop cloths are industrial paper towels. They're super strong. They're used commercially in restaurants, cafeterias, mechanic shops, anywhere that is for the public where people are cleaning and stuff. A lot of times you will not see them use a piece of material like cloth. You'll see them use them. You won't see them use cloth that's reusable because it harbors bacteria. For those of you also that know, I worked in healthcare and specifically in food and nutrition for 10 years. I worked as a corporate food manager for about almost 15 years. And that always stays with you. Department of Health regulations stay with you. So it's been very interesting, navigating people's conversations during the pandemic, because I've had to just give some education out there for different things on like sanitation and cleaning up, not only in your home, but outside of your home, how you protect yourself in a logical way and a useful way, such as proper glove usage, proper mask usage, all of that. I used to do trainings on this stuff. I used to do trainings with my staff. We have to do them yearly, but I digress. Anywho, you put in a filter, and as I said, it could be the shop cloth. It could be a material like a piece of t-shirt, preferably cotton, because cotton is very, very breathable. That's what you want. That's the type of material you would want to use as a filter. Also, cotton balls. You can use that. You can also use paper towel or even facial tissue. That can also serve as a filter. And what's great about all those things, except for, of course, the cotton cloth, is that they're all disposable. As soon as you get home, you can just dump it out. You can just shake it out of your mask, and of course, wash your reusable mask as soon as you get home. And you can also sanitize it in your oven at 170 degrees for 20 to 30 minutes, and your mask will be completely and totally sanitized and free of germs, because germs don't like high heat. Okay. So that's my weekly TED Talk on sanitization and proper protection and mask maintenance. So the mask I'm going to work on today is another hemp mask. I mean, you saw the hemp mask that I just made that is for like covering beards and such. This brand is called Hempathy. I showed it last week because I just bought a whole bunch of yarns from yarn.com. I love that website. I love that store. They're amazing. They are taking orders, and you get the order fairly quickly. They're in Boston. I'm in New York. I got it in about a week. So that's they've been a godsend. It's been a godsend because I was doing a fundraiser, and I still basically am. My fundraiser has been trying to get antibacterial, antimicrobial materials to make masks with. And for those who donate, anyone that wants to donate, you'll get a mask. Or even if you don't donate, if you just in need of a mask, I will send you one. And then there are folks that have just said, Regina, I just want to buy a mask. So I have masks up on my Etsy page, and you can choose whether if you want cotton, if you want bamboo, if you want hemp. And cotton isn't antibacterial or antimicrobial, but it's very breathable, easy to wash, easy to maintain, and that's why it makes like really good masks. Even though like it doesn't have the extras as the bamboo as a hemp, but it's still a wonderful mask material, mask fiber. But anywho, so we have this hemp yarn from Hempathy, and this particular yarn from Hempathy, it's not 100% hemp. It is a cotton hemp blend, similar to the mask that I made before that I showed you, and that one is by no, that's Bamboo Pop. We'll discuss bamboo yarns in a second. I thought maybe I had the tag. I meant to say the tag for you guys. But that is another brand, and that's I think the amount of hemp was about 24% to like 70 something percent cotton. Which still is good. You have the breathability, and you still have the hemp woven throughout the yarn to help with being antibacterial, antimicrobial. As I said with this one, this is another hemp cotton blend, and the percentages on this are, because I think it's important for you guys to know, because I don't want to say like, hey, this is 100% such and such. This is that. No, I want to make sure that you guys know. So this is 41% cotton and 34% hemp and 25% modal. And it's difference in texture between these two. Hemp is, if you've worked with 100% hemp feels like grass. I've mentioned that before. It feels like grass, like straw, until you like really warm it up as you're using your hands, like crocheting or knitting. And then it really starts to soften, and it makes a good mask, actually. So this is pretty. This is a little bit not rough. I don't want to say rougher, but has it's soft, but and it has that cotton quality, but also has that grass-like quality that I mentioned in regards to hemp. And this one is a little bit softer because this has more cotton in it, but you can still feel the grassiness of hemp. But it is very soft on the face, which is good. None of this is like itchy or scratchy. All of it is very smooth, but you can just feel the texture difference, which is fine. And I've mentioned before that if you really want to get a material that's cool against the skin, because now we're going into warmer weather, especially here in New York, wearing masks can be very chafing. I'm making a circular mask. And I've been making masks for like the past 2 months, but I'm gonna keep making them for a while. So I'm making another mask. It is going to be circular, similar to this one, and it also is going to have a pocket. And I may do something a little bit different with the ear handles, but we'll see. I may make them adjustable compared to this one. The handles here aren't adjustable, but they're very stretchy. And the material for this one, I didn't say before, is bamboo cotton. It's 50% bamboo, 50% cotton. So yeah, conversations have been going around about masks just being like really uncomfortable. And we're in a situation where we might be wearing them for a while. So you want to make your mask as comfortable as possible. And it's important to look up materials that would give you comfortability, durability, as well as be as protective as possible. And that's why I did seek out the bamboo and the hemp and so forth. But what I have found, I think I'm going to use this hook. This is a size D hook. I've used it before. I like it. I like the D. I like the D. That doesn't sound right. I like the D hook. But this is by Boy. This is by Boy. So in regards to finding material that's comfortable and suitable, I've mentioned this before, like bamboo cotton is just really cool. Hello, welcome. We're making protective masks today. So I've been using bamboo yarn and hemp, as I mentioned before. But bamboo is really cool against the skin. I cannot promote that more because since I've been wearing a bamboo mask myself, I've definitely noticed a difference compared to wearing something else. Oh, welcome. Do you magic ring? No, I don't. No, I don't. What's that? I don't even know what that is. That's amazing. I want to know what's magic ring. Please explain that. And I'll repeat it to everyone else. I definitely want to know. Because again, I'm here on my laptop with my folks on Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Facebook, and I'm with my fam on the Instagram. But yes, I would encourage folks get something that's breathable, cool, and comfortable. And so play with some of these different yarns. Play with cotton, play with hemp, play with bamboo. Basically, instead of doing a slip loop like you normally do, you basically wound the yarn around your fingers and just start knitting, and it makes it a little more conspicuous. I'm in crochet, not knitting. I've been learning to knit too, so it's okay. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, I don't magic ring. I do a slip knot. I do a slip knot. But I always like to say I do a lot of tricks with crochet. Magic is a slip knot loop. Pull the loop up and crochet into a ring. Yeah, no. What I do to make a circular, and we're going to do that now. So I'll show you what I do. So what I do is, for those of you who know how to crochet, and if you don't know how to crochet, please stop me. I'll go over it because we're just starting fresh. So I have no problem pulling anything out, pulling any of the stitches out. So okay, so once I figured out how easy it was, I really like the way it looks. Oh, that's so cool. I have to look that up. So I'm just gonna crochet, and feel free to chat amongst yourselves. But okay, so what I'm gonna do, for those of you who already know how to crochet, what I do is I'll make about three stitches. 3 stitches on a chain. So here we have our 3 stitches, kind of tiny. Yeah, YouTube has a lot of videos that are, really good. Yeah, I love them. I learned how to make mittens that way. I was so happy. I did that last year. I was thrilled. Oh my God. So I have 3 stitches. And after I make those 3 stitches, I go down the little chain that I made, and I make a second row, essentially. Oh gosh, I made these stitches tight, Lord. Okay. Oh boy. Okay, let's loosen that. I didn't mean to tighten it that tight. Okay. There we go. Okay. So just so folks can see, I made 3 stitches on a chain, and then I quickly made a second row down that chain. And what I'm going to do is simply keep crocheting around this little piece that I just made. It's so small. Oh my God. It's itty bitty. It's so itty bitty. And I just keep going around in a circle. And that's how I started. That's how I started. That's how this one started. But not only do I do that, and you'll see as I continuously go around in the circle, I add stitches to it. I'll start adding stitches, meaning that I'll start extending the circle, almost like making a doily, but without the large holes or the decorative holes that you would make when making a doily. That just allows me to control how the circle expands and also how it starts to cup, because as you're crocheting in the round, a lot of times you'll start noticing that the walls will sort of like buckle up. Just 1 second. I love to have questions. As I'm going around, okay, interesting. Do I close with a slip stitch? No, I don't. I actually just keep crocheting single, and I forgot to say I'm crocheting single crochet. I just keep going around in a circle with single crochet. As even as I expand, on the circle. So, and also as I'm going around in a circle, I keep my thumb, so you guys can see, I keep my thumb on the center of the circle. It kind of just helps to keep it flattened out, as well as, lets me know when the walls are starting to sort of like curve up. Because if you notice, because I do want that curve, as you can see, I do want that curve. I do want it to look sort of like a little purse. I do want it to look like that, because of how it cups the face. That's really important. But I don't want it to do it like right in the center. I don't want that. So I'll go around in a circle like this. About 2 or 3 times. So I'll just keep going around a circle 2 or 3 times. Because usually around the 3rd time is when I start to feel the circle want to cup. And that's around now, actually. I think I'm right on around like the third rotation. So as I have my thumb on it, I'm rotating it. So now what I'll start to do is, as we're seeing the stitch, see me in the stitch. I want to make sure you guys see, all the folks see that instead of just doing one stitch, just one stitch in this particular stitch that you're seeing me do, I'll do 2 stitches into 1 stitch, and that just helps it to fan out. So as you see me do single crochet into 1 stitch, I'm going to do another single crochet stitch into that stitch. And as you see me do that, you'll also see it just start to flatten out by itself. And that's the part of doing the mask in the round that sort of makes it take a bit longer than doing the rectangular masks I've been doing, is because I'm doing double the work. Instead of just doing one stitch, I'm doing double stitches into one stitch. I'm sure you guys can see me, see my hands. So I know I just have these long fingers. Longish nails. So as we can see, it's starting to flat out. It looks like a little snail. And I'll just continue doing this for a bit. But generally, like for right now, as I'm doing this in the round, let's say I'll do double stitches into one stitch for 2 rotations of the circle. And then by the 3rd rotation, I'll start doing single crochet into one stitch, like how I began. And I'll alternate it. From there, I'll alternate it. Every other rotation is either single crochet into one stitch or double single crochet into one stitch, if that makes sense. And I'll repeat myself. If folks don't understand, please stop me. And I'm glad to be doing this. The specifically the mask in the round. I haven't done it in a long time. So far I've done three masks in the round. One I did make a bit more beak-like. It was the first it was the first mask I had ever made, and one of my favorite clients, I don't know if she's still in the chat room on Instagram, but she got that one. She decided that she really liked that one. It matched a scarf that I made and that she purchased, so she really wanted to get it. But I kind of liked it. I liked it beak-like. It like just gave more. It's like there's more space. There's more space, like to breathe. And that one also has a pocket where you can put filters inside. Okay, so you guys can see it. I like this side the best. So it does look like sort of like a little doily, but nah, you know, a little doily, but nah. And then I'm going to start to do single crochet into a single stitch in a minute. And it just helps to control the curve, because I do want it to curve up. I do want it to curve up, but I don't want it to the stitches to be stretched out and then be extra holes. Even though we're going to put a lining in this, I don't want that. And if someone would want to have like a round mask, but you know, they have a beard, it would be the same concept as I did with the rectangular mask. You just make it larger. As in maybe like you add an inch or two to the circumference of the mask. And you also may want to put in what I would call like sort of like a beard platform, where you're just like let's say like under I want to say like the bottom of the mask. Just have it be. Let me make sure my face is basic properly. You just have it as extended as much as possible. Not just extended, but create some sort of like bridge or a tuck. I'm definitely gonna play with that, just so folks can keep it all in. And you also could probably make something sock-like. I mean, there's some masks that people are wearing where you just pull it over your face, so similar to my hair sock, where you just pull it down. I would also suggest that for those who have like really long beards. I mean, that's also something that we can make together too. But that wouldn't be hard at all. It'd be like making an extremely tight cowl or collar. And extremely tight, built for the face. You know, we put a filter pocket in that one. We could do that. We can definitely do something like that. Hello, welcome. We are making round masks today. The yarn that I'm using is hemp based. I think it's 37% hemp. I'm always looking for these tags, but I think it's about 30. It's probably about 37% hemp and 34% hemp, 41% cotton. So we're seeing that it's starting to buckle, but we want it like this. And after this, the last rotation, I'm going to start doing the double single crochet stitches into one stitch, so that'll start to fan out again. Because we don't want it to buckle or turn up that deeply. We don't want a cup. We don't want a cup. It can be bowl-like, but not cup-like. So here I am, starting the double stitches into one stitch. And again, I'm just crocheting 2 stitches twice into each stitch around the circumference. I'm so fancy with my geometry. Around the circumference of the mask, or the beginnings of the mask. And I always have to double check that that's exactly what I'm doing, because I'll go along and like, oh, I'm crocheting so fast, I'm making so much progress, and it's like, oh wait, I have a cup. Oh, that means I didn't switch up my stitches. So with this one, you definitely have to be a little bit more mindful than the rectangular masks that we generally make. But once you get into the groove, it is pretty fast. You just have to be a little bit more mindful. But I think it's worth the extra. I think it's worth a little bit of extra work. I think it's worth it. Okay. So we see the difference, just so you guys can see the difference. So here's where I'm fanning out. Show both. So both. See that this is fanning out a bit while the other side is still cupped. That's what's going on there. So we're just cupping and fanning out until we have this perfect sort of boat-shaped bowl that we're putting on our faces. And for this one, I think I am going to install adjustable ear handles. Because what I'm noticing is there are a lot of some of the masks out there, at least the ones that are like made of cloth and don't have like elastic in them, they're not necessarily going to fit everybody's ears because everybody's just the length and the width of your face. It's different. So it's important to be able to adjust your mask accordingly. Unless you're using, yarn that has a bit of elastic to it, which the bamboo yarns I've been using have a little bit of elasticity to it, especially the last yarn that I used by Bamboo Pop sock yarn, that had like a little bit of elastic in it, and it was pretty stretchy. It didn't need a lot. I think it was like 88% PBT. I think that was the name of the material that was in it, along with the bamboo and the cotton, and it allowed it to be very stretchy. So a material like that, I could definitely do like just the regular ear handles as opposed to adjustable ones. Because again, we're about comfortability. If we have to wear these things, let's be cute, let's be fashionable, but let's be useful and protective, more importantly. And I really want to feel like I don't have anything on my face. That's how I want to feel. I want to feel like I have nothing on my face. Like everything is just like, oh, I'm just breathing. I'm just living my life. I'm not hot. This is great. This is great. This is not, such an inconvenience. It might be a little bit annoying. I got to remember to put it on, but I think I can say for myself, living here in New York City, I'm probably going to be wearing a mask for a bit. Willingly, and if there's a mandate in place or however long the mandate lasts. We do currently have a mandate in place. I just want it to be okay, set it and forget it. It's on my face. That's it. I'm comfortable. Okay, so here we are. So you see how we have that little fanning effect, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it back in and do single crochet into every stitch as opposed to the double single crochet into one stitch. So I'm going to pull all of that in. Okay. If anyone has any questions, feel free to let me know. Also, let me know whatever projects you're working on. I'd love to hear about that. I see a lot of great things on Craft Instagram, all things that people are working on or considering working on. Everybody has an IG Live now, which I think is great. I'm learning a lot by watching folks and their processes and how they're, coping in this pandemic situation, how they're staying rested, how some folks are, being productive, how folks are finding pleasure in being not productive. Just the whole gamut. I'm really appreciative to hear about and to see. I feel like we're using communication in a new way, or maybe in a way in which we should have been using it. Okay. And again, we can see how the fan is gradually becoming bowl-like again. And for folks that, have like enjoyed watching these crochet demos, and I enjoy doing them too. It's very relaxing. This is a part of my self-care, if you guys didn't know. But I also have a podcast that's happening weekly for right now called The Brew with the amazing Ilka Pinero. And we talk about self-care, culture, and equity. We'll be doing a live broadcast tomorrow afternoon at 3 p.m. And I'll be posting that on all the channels. You can also subscribe to some of my channels if you want. I'm on Twitch and YouTube as Lock It Down, LOCKETT Down, DOWN Productions. So you can just put a search in and find me. For those who are watching on Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, I think when I posted this demo, I think my links pop up, so feel free to jump on those. And for Instagram, I'll be putting something on my link tree. We just had our first episode last week. It went really well. We had a ton of viewers. It was so humbling. But we'll be talking about a little bit about self-care this week, and how to do self-care in a stressful situation like this, where every day just feels like the same day. It's like, how do we do it? How do we still take care of ourselves and maintain? So we'll be discussing that tomorrow at 3 p.m. Okay, so let's see how we're doing. Do a check. And that's starting to look like something, y'all. It's starting to look like something. Mainstream took a big hit, but independent creators are doing great. Kickstarter, Indiegogo, etc., etc. Do agree. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, I do comics. I write comic books. I publish. Yeah, mainstream took a big hit. Indie creators, I guess some of us are doing great, and I'm glad to hear that. I had a Kickstarter, and my Kickstarter failed. My Kickstarter failed. I did not meet the goal in whatever way, shape, or form. So we all, I think, are going through our own thing. We're all going through our own thing, comic book wise, creator wise, in that fashion. Some folks are really productive or feeling really productive. Other folks are not. Don't fault them. I mean, I personally have not been feeling the most creative writing wise. It was recently that I finally finished a comic book script. For those of you who don't know, that's how comic books are written. And I just finished one for a project that'll be coming out later this year, Lord willing. And I have another project that's on the table that also will be coming out later this year. But the table is proverbial, and I don't know when I'm writing anything on it. I don't know. I don't know, but I mean, I will. So, all of us, I think, are experiencing different things. I mean, I can't say, hey, I'm doing great, but I can say that I'm maintaining and I'm taking one day at a time. It's specifically when it comes to comics. And I know this is my crochet demo, but if you want to talk about creativity, I'm here for it. So I definitely can talk about comics as I crochet. But the industry is definitely changing, and it's not about whether it's good or bad or indifferent. I mean, I don't think that should be the conversation. I think it should be about how do you change your change? How do you move with that? Especially if it's a change that you're not necessarily ready for or geared up for or want. And many times when change happens, a lot of folks don't want it. I mean, look at what's going on with the pandemic. Look at all the folks that are protesting in the streets because they want everything to open up and nobody wants to wear masks. Everyone just wants to do what they want to do, even though it may hurt and harm other folks. Get out of here! You worked in Marvel years ago. Oh, cool. I just did a project with Marvel for their Marvel Voices #1. I wrote an essay for their website and for the book. But that not your created own comics. I'm glad you made Marvel comics. I'm sorry, I don't understand. What? But that not your created own comics. I'm glad you made them. Okay, I'm just going to try to decipher that. I'm going to try to decipher that. Yeah, check it out. Marvel Voices #1 is really great. It came out in February. We did a couple of signings in Brooklyn. Okay, which was amazing. It's a beautiful anthology named after the podcast, Marvel Voices podcast, that is reflective of marginalized voices or voices that are usually marginalized when it comes to the comic book industry. So it was really a blessing to be able to do that. Hope to work more in the future with other companies and such. Right now, my creator own work is not. I want to say it's on hiatus. I think it's been on hiatus for a while, but I can talk about that all. I can talk about that a lot. And ironically, I was going to go to my my Lock It Down Productions handle on Instagram and talk a little bit about what I'm going to be doing comic book wise in the future. Because I do have a Patreon for my comic book series and for working on comics. I actually am going to be doing lessons on writing comics, on not just how to write comics, but how to build characters, how to world build, how to put scripts together, but the choices on writing scripts. Also how to self-publish. And put pitches together. And that'll be for my patrons on Patreon. I'll be putting together a workshop for them. And it's a workshop that I've been doing for the past, 6 or 7 years. I'm trying to remember, like probably about 7 years. So I've been doing that with kids. I've been doing that with adults. And I'm just going to put a little series together, a little like hour-long, maybe 5-part series, maybe for each subject that I mentioned, or them individually. I'm not quite sure yet, but I'll have that available on my Patreon for all patrons at this point. The Kickstarter campaign was not your created own books. You were the publisher. Yes, I was the publisher. I am currently I am publishing Exmoor Studio books. Exmoor Studios was owned and run by a beautiful friend of mine, Robert Garrett. He is the late and great Robert Garrett. He actually passed away a year ago last year. And so his daughter and I have come together and we're going to be publishing his books. And yes, that was my first Kickstarter because it was very important to me to honor him and his work. He was a tremendous creator, and he has a wealth of books in his library that deserve to see the light of day. And people definitely need to see them, and they will see them. As a creator and a publisher, and a lot of publishers are actually on Instagram, and they are seeking to publish books. I was doing the same thing, but the books are now part of the Lock It Down library, and some of them are available on my lockitdown.com website. I didn't know it's going to be a crochet demo and a Lock It Down or a comic book conversation, but hey, thank you guys. You can get books, download books for free, as well as purchase some books to download on my website, lockitdown.com, LOCK. ETT down DOWN.com. And you can check out my comic book work there if folks are interested in seeing that. Yeah. Robert Garrett he truly will be missed. Yes, he is already missed. He was amazing. Let's make sure we're still on track. Are we still on track? Yeah, we're still on track. It looks good, right? So again, we're going to keep this going where as we do a single rotation. That's my suggestion. As you're doing a single rotation, you do single crochet into one stitch, and then the next rotation you do double crochet stitches. And I don't mean double crochet, I mean 2 single crochet stitches into a single stitch. I'll draw artwork piece of his creation soon. That's cool. Robert would have loved that. But yeah, I mean, as publishers, we're finding new and inventive ways to publish books in general. Right now, all my books are available digitally. All of Robert's books aren't available digitally quite yet, but we're going to make that happen. Kickstarter is still in my plans, but I'm also, and I've said this before, like I'm also come from the school of, I was publishing before Kickstarter, so my books are going to be out one way or another. I never was a person that was dependent on that. Hi, Divi, how are you? It's good to see you. My books are coming out one way or another. That's how I've always been a determined person. But also as a Kickstarter creator in residence alum, which I am. I'm also very passionate about what Kickstarter has allowed us to do as creators. So it's still a source that I'll be using in the future. You remember me, right? I drew the eating vampire drawing. Yeah, I know exactly who you are. No, I know exactly who you are. I see you at the shows all the time. I have the drawing that you drew me. It's in my bedroom right now. Yes. But yeah, Kickstarter is a beautiful, fabulous tool, and if you can utilize it as a creator, you should. If you didn't make your Kickstarter goal like me, you don't give up. You find another way to do it, or you revamp your campaign for the next time. Right now, I just would like to just sit down and create. And then, however mode of funding I do, I'll figure it out. But I would just like the piece of just creating something. I think that's highly important. And then we can figure out how to monetize it later. But right now, in the climate that we're in, if we can just sit and take a minute to breathe and figure out if you want to be productive or not first, I think that's an even more beautiful thing. Could we do a how to kid comic on making this mask? We could. We totally could. We could definitely do that. You actually are giving me an idea for this project I'm supposed to be working on. I might, you know what? That's a good idea. I actually was considering that for a project that I'm working on that is sort of like quarantine focused. And I wasn't sure what I was going to write, so I actually might do that. I think that might be a really good idea to do. I'm good. Still working on the crochet basics. How are you? I'm doing okay. Thanks for asking. I'm so glad you're still working on the basics. If you have any questions, please let me know. The Women's Arts Collective sent a request to be in your live video. We have a few minutes if you'd like to join. Be my guest. Downloadable, I think. Yeah, it will be downloadable. she would like to pop in. I'm going to let someone pop in. You guys on Restream won't be able to see her, but I told her that she'll be allowed to pop in on Instagram if she'd like to. Yes, it will be downloadable. It will be downloadable. Whether I have to check with I'll be checking with the company first. So we'll see. But announcements have already been made about the project, so it's not a super secret. But I will make sure that it's downloadable and that it's available, especially my story. Hi, welcome. So Divi, I hope you've been doing your chain stitches. Let me know what type of things you've been doing. I'd like to hear. I love WWE and found out that you like it too. Your thoughts on Otis winning and Becky Lynch being pregnant? Okay, so the other day, I think on Sunday, I told you guys that I was going to be on a podcast, specifically Black Comics Chat. Those are my folks, those are my people, that's my family. And that podcast topic was Money in the Bank. If anyone watches wrestling, I'm a huge wrestling fan. And we had the podcast on Monday and we talked about it. We chatted. It's up on their Twitch channel if anyone's interested in watching it. I thought that the matches were great on Money in the Bank. I gave it a B plus, A minus on the podcast. I think Otis winning was hilarious. I love me some Otis. And Becky Lynch being pregnant. Hey, congratulations to Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins. At the same time, I'm so happy to see somebody outside of her with that belt. So thank you, Becky. You did us a huge favor by deciding to have a little one. So I think that's great. In the meantime, real quick, since we still are crocheting here and we have a few minutes left, I'm going to show you we've made pretty good progress. And just so you know, like this is what this is going to end up looking like. And this is also double-sided. So I end up making 2 masks, really, and then sewing them together. And that makes the little pocket. It looks like a non-edible empanada. You know, when you like about to fill it with all that wonderful filling and then sealing it. So this is essentially what we're going to end up making, but it is coming along. It's coming along really well. Right, here we go. So I think I'm still thinking about that mask idea, because it did cross my mind about the fact that I've been sitting here making masks for the past 2 months, and it is an interesting, I guess, pandemic quarantine story in a sense. But I think it might be cool, just specifically for for kids. Maybe it doesn't necessarily have to be crochet. It can be, a cloth mask. Just a quick how-to on sewing. I mean, when I was a little girl, I had a little sewing machine. I had a baby sewing machine. I forget who made it. But it came with all the accoutrements. It came with needles and a bunch of thread and like a spindle and all this stuff. It was so cool. But it also could just be like just sewing by hand, sewing a mask by hand and putting that together. Or I could do a crochet one. So basically, I guess a pattern with a bunch of graphics to it, essentially, like just a visual pattern. So okay, guys, Instagram is basically saying you're timed out. But I may just maybe continue this conversation over at my other handle, Locket_down, if anyone wants to continue to talk about comics. But I'll be back on Friday at 4 p.m. Making more masks. So I'll see you then. Also, come and see me at Lock It Down. Take care. Bye.